Good morning, Vietnam! Welcome back. Yeah, I've been away for a few days. I'm on a train expedition at the moment, going all the way from Hanoi in the north of Vietnam down to Saigon, about 2,000 kilometers on the train with some buddies. I'm not actually filming that because I want to turn myself into a bicycle vlogger mainly. So you guys are following me for my bicycle expeditions, so that's what we'll focus on. I'm at the beautiful city of Da Nang right now. Really lovely day. Middle of April, beautiful sunny day. Oh, look at that blue skies. For the last month on my bicycle, really been missing those blue skies. We're back to warm, if not hot weather, blue skies, magnificent. So there's our Da Nang beach sign there. Wonderful day at the beach. About 10 o'clock in the morning, probably 27, 28 degrees Celsius right now. Absolutely idyllic, wonderful, delightful, magnificent. Really lovely. So here I am, walking on the beach. Beautiful soft sandy beach today.
Hello.
Very lovely. Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, as always, all over Vietnam, locals very friendly. Little boy there just jumped up and said hello, so that was good. For those of you who follow me regularly, you'll know that I just completed a 3,300 kilometer bicycle ride from Pattaya in Thailand to Hanoi in Vietnam. Took me 57 days and I made 57 videos of that. So here we are right now. We're on this beautiful sandy beach. If you look down here, you see my hand, see that beautiful sand. Really lovely, magnificent indeed. What we're going to talk about today is 10 highs and lows of my bicycle trip. So probably 5 highs, 5 lows, and just let you know what really got me excited, really got my blood pumping, and what was the most miserable and terrible of those days. So some good days, some bad days. So I'll get into it, and that's what we can talk about now. So my bicycle ride from Pattaya to Hanoi, it took 57 days and I made one video every day. So there's 57 videos in the playlist down below and they're numbered from 1 to 57 for easy reference. The best day of all was actually day 32 and it's entitled Best Day Yet. What a magnificent day that was. Brilliant scenic views. We went up quite high on these cliffs. We went around the road, went around these rocky headlands. Magnificent lunch on a floating restaurant with cold drinks. Really fantastic indeed. What a magnificent day. Check that video out. That's day 32. What I loved about that day, it was probably low 30s, 31, 32 degrees Celsius. A little bit of a headwind, but that didn't bother me at all. That was just a cooling breeze that day. Delightful. What a wonderful day. So check out that video. That was day 32. You know, sometimes when you're on the bicycle, it just feels like magic. That's why cycling is such a popular pastime in the world. Yeah, some days may suck, and we'll get to that later in this video, but other days, absolutely terrific. And that's what day 32 is. You go have a look at that video. One of the best videos, and certainly for me, one of the best days. That's one that stands out. You know, when you have 57 days of cycling, some days it's difficult to differentiate from another. But really, every day was different, and every video is different. They're not all the same. So check that video out, day 32. What a lovely day. Now the next day that stands out for me for all the wrong reasons is day 35, which is only 3 days later. The weather had turned, it had shifted from that beautiful temperature of 31, 32 degrees down to the low 20s, and with it, it brought rains. Yuck. So you can see here, no rains, blue skies, blue sea, beautiful white powdery beach. Yeah, that was day 35. That had 2 or 3 lows that day. The first low was that it actually rained. I was only about half a kilometer from my hotel in the morning. After actually probably the best breakfast of the entire trip, that's a high. But half a kilometer down the road, the winds came 40 or 50 kilometers an hour, the winds right in my face. You cannot believe it was quite extreme. And then the rain started. Oh, I made a little recording of about 30 seconds that day, day 35. Wow, quite extreme. And then the rains came that day, so it took 35 days for the first rains, which is not bad. However, it is summer season in Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, so I wasn't really expecting any rains at all. But that would be the first low, this incredible wind, which was very, very difficult to cycle against. And then the worst low of that day was when I got to my hotel room in the afternoon. I turned on my computer and the little touchscreen cursor on the screen had totally disappeared. I turned my computer on, I turned it off, turned it on, turned it off, and it just was not there, no matter what I did to the computer. So that was really panic stations for me. That was probably the lowest point for me of the entire journey, was the fact that I could not find the cursor on the screen. You know, the little pointer arrows, what I'm talking about? If you've got a laptop or if you've got a computer with a mouse, you know, you have your little pointer on the screen there and it's always there, and you point it and you click and wonderful things happen. That pointer just totally disappeared. So I spent about 1 hour trying to get it to work. It wouldn't. I looked on my phone for the nearest computer repair shop, and it was about 12 kilometers away. In a very, very small town. I forget what part of Vietnam I was in on day 35, but that was the fastest I had cycled because I needed it fixed. Without my laptop, I can't edit the videos. There's so much more than just editing videos. It's one of my lifelines. My phone is a lifeline and my laptop is a lifeline. So I went to this computer store, I got my laptop out, I turned it on, and the owner didn't speak any English at all. So I was going to explain to him what the problem was. I turned my computer on, and there's the cursor, there's the pointer. It was on the screen. I could not believe it. I'd cycled 12 kilometers like a madman. I was just pumping away with my legs, and I finally get to this store. Turn the computer on. So the man says to me, you know, through a Google translator, "What's the problem?" And I said, "Well, the problem's fixed. Thank you and goodbye." So that was day 35. Worth checking out that video as well for the wind, the rain, and the wonderful breakfast I had that morning as well. A 4-course breakfast. Wonderful that was. But the low, and probably that was the main low of the entire trip, panicking, because if your laptop is broke, I don't know what you can do if you can't fix it. So that was day 35. Check it out, and in the comments below, let me know what you think was maybe one of the low points of my trip. Welcome back to the beach boulevard. So what I'm going to talk about next is another high, fantastic high really. Pretty much all the way from, or not all the way, but most of the way from Vung Tau, which is near Saigon, up to Hanoi. We probably had 1,500 kilometers of beach. Not total beach, but many stretches with lots of lovely white sand or brown sand in places. And this was just mile upon mile upon mile. But most beaches, the sand was very fine, quite dry, quite powdery, not easy or not possible even for me to ride my bicycle on the beach. So what I did was I tried quite a few times and unsuccessfully. So finally on day 54, I came across this beach, and it was vast, probably 10 or 15 kilometers long. It had packed compressed sand, and I was able to ride my bicycle on the sand for about 6 or 7 kilometers. That's a fantastic video also. That's day number 54 if you want to check it out. But one of the great things about this bicycle ride is the freedom you have. You know, bicycles are great. Yes, they're quiet, they're clean energy, of course, because it's, you know, the human that's powering it with our legs. It's a fantastic way to ride. But when I was riding down the beach that day, got my little pedals going, I'm on the sand, the waves are breaking right by my wheels. What a wonderful experience that was. So that's day 54, and that was one of the really big super highs of this entire trip. So check that video out sometime, day 54, cycling on the beach. During my bicycle ride, I had many expressions, but one of them was, what goes up must go down. And that was when I was either pushing my bicycle up steep hills or pedaling my bicycle up these steep hills. And it was quite an experience sometimes. What goes up must go down. So on a similar vein, when I talk about these fantastic highs I had on these beautiful days when the weather was so nice, day 47 sticks in my mind because it was bloody cold. Yuck. The whole day was freezing cold. I ended up with 3 raincoats on because not only was it cold, the weather was miserable. That's day 47. That is definitely one of the most low points of my entire journey. Cycling in the rain is not my cup of tea, if you know what I mean. It really isn't. I like days like today. Once again, I'll pan the camera around here, look up a little bit, see the blue skies, and look at this magnificent beach here. Really is lovely. But once again, if I was cycling today, headwinds. The wind's coming from over there, and pretty much Hanoi, where I'm not going to anymore, is over there. So there's bloody headwinds. I'll talk about them in a moment. But they are one of the things which on that coldest day, not only did I have these freezing temperatures of around 16 or 17 degrees Celsius, which doesn't sound cold, but when you mix it with mega winds and freezing cold rain, yuck, I tell you what, that is not good cycling conditions. So that was day 47, probably the worst day of the lot in terms of weather for me. Bloody cold. I can't remember the title of the video, but it is something like bloody cold. So there you go, day 47, check it out. I'm going to talk about another low point now, and this was pretty much every day for at least 50 of the 57 days on my trip. And that was day 24 was the worst of it, and I entitled that Winds from Hell. Jesus, I mean, maybe you shouldn't swear on camera, but man alive, that day, day 24, winds from hell. Check out that video, yeah. I'm sure that the winds were forecast for a high of 40 that day, 40 kilometers an hour. I tell you what, when I was on the beach that day and those winds were howling, my God, that was 50 or 60 kilometer-hour winds. That was a proper storm. Yes, there was no rain, but man alive, those winds were strong. And I tell you what, I was in the lowest of 24 gears and I could not go forward on the road. That's how bad the winds were, or how strong the winds were. It was like going up the steepest hill you can imagine. The pressure on your legs and the pain in your thighs. Man alive, day 24, winds from hell, say no more. But those winds, they just bugged me literally from the first day to the 57th day. There were not many days without wind, I tell you that. And that's my fault. Maybe I should have planned better and done the trip when the wind's not in your face. It would have been nice to have some tailwinds. So I'm going to continue with day 55. So I got to Hanoi on day 56. I ended my trip in Hanoi on day 57. But day 55, when I was still a couple of 100 kilometers short of Hanoi, wow, I'm cycling along and I suddenly thought, wow, this is so easy today. And then I saw some flags and I finally, after 55 days, had a tailwind. And I'm going along the road, literally, yee-hoo! Man alive, that was brilliant. You cannot believe how wonderful bicycle riding is when you have a tailwind. It makes such a difference. You know, you can pedal a little bit and then you rest, and you pedal a little bit and you rest, and you can look around and life is wonderful. But those other approximately 50 days when I had headwinds, you just got to pump and pump and pump and pump and pump. And when I'm on the bicycle for 8 to 10 hours, I tell you what, wow, does that make your thighs hurt or what? And wow, what a difference that makes to your mood. Same with the sunshine. That beautiful blue skies we've got today. Look at that. It makes such a difference to your optimism and your positivism. Whee! I just ran there because the wave came up the beach. Almost got me, but not quite. Don't you just love it? Yes. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Is that a tailwind or a headwind? I don't care because I'm walking today. And you know, when you're walking, you never know. You never know, is it a headwind or a tailwind? And who cares? Now let's talk about another low. That was day number 39. And what happened that day, just to go back a little bit, is that I've been traveling with 2 backpacks. One weighs about 5 kilos and it's got my laptop and accessories and things like that in there, power cables, all my camera gear. That's my laptop backpack. And then I have my clothes and toiletries backpack. Well, I had it on my back this time. I stopped to have a cold drink somewhere at one of these little stores on the side of the road. And I got back on my bicycle. And I don't know, 5 or 6 kilometers later, I'm pedaling along. And I suddenly thought, oh my God, where's my backpack? I couldn't believe it. I'd left it at the store on the chair where I was having the drink. So I do a U-turn, I go all the way back. But the difficulty was, you're not always paying attention to what the store exactly looks like. But I knew approximately the location. I knew it was on a corner, and I thought I could recognize it if I saw it again. And sure enough, after about 10 minutes again, fast, panicky pedaling, I got there and there's my bag sitting on a chair. So you could say that was a low point because I was stupid enough to have left it there in the first place. But in some ways, it was also a high point because you get the exhilaration of having not lost your bag after you thought, well, maybe my bag is lost. So that was a low point, but it was also a high point in many ways as well. So that's a lesson learned, and I never again lost or misplaced anything on the trip. So always keep your valuables safe, and always keep your eye on your bicycle and your backpacks and everything that you're riding with. That's my advice. Another high point day for me was day 56. So as you already know, this whole trip from Pattaya to Hanoi took me 57 days, but it was actually on day 56 that I rode into the city limits of Hanoi. And wow, what a feeling. That was also the day that I surpassed 3,300 kilometers, and both of them kind of give you this wave of euphoria, this optimistic feeling that life is great. Wonderful experience indeed. So that was day 56. The highs of actually getting to your destination after a lot of struggle, a lot of pain, a lot of turmoil. It's not easy getting out of bed every morning, packing up all your gear. I mean, 2 backpacks of gear, every single thing needs packing away carefully, otherwise it won't fit. I have my specific order for packing various things. Not easy indeed. And you got all the hassle of then spending 10 or 15 minutes with these really long bungee cords. I bungee normally both backpacks to the bicycle rack on the back of the bicycle. Looks easy, sounds easy, but it all takes time. Then you cycle for 8 to 10 hours against these bloody headwinds. Oh dear, Then you get to your hotel, you got to unpack everything in reverse. I have 5 different items that need charging every day. Then you do your laundry, which is the shirt I'm wearing, your shorts and your socks need laundering every single day. Hang those up. Then it's time to edit the videos, and it takes typically 2 hours to 2.5 hours to fully edit, upload and get the video posted. All of that by then 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. Go out, get a little bit of food, maybe a couple of drinks, and Bob's your uncle, time for sleep, wake up and repeat it all. So day 56, fantastic feeling that actually you've arrived at your destination safe and sound. I only had 2 punches the entire journey, which I think was some kind of miracle, but I was very aware on the roads, always looking down at the road surface as well as looking side to side ahead, and as much as possible just being very attentive, keeping your eye on the road and making sure that you're not cycling over anything that looks sharp. So 2 flat tires in 57 days was quite an achievement. I'm quite happy with that. And the bicycle stand broke, I had to buy a new bicycle stand, and the rear tire went bald. I had to buy a new rear tire. Apart from that, the bicycle was excellent. My physical condition was fantastic for most of the journey, if not the entire journey. Great. So all things considered, wonderful, wonderful indeed. The final low I want to talk about happened on day 46, and that was the rainiest day of the entire journey. It rained morning till evening. I think I cycled for about 9 hours that day. Raining, wind howling like hell, and then you're gonna end up with some blisters some places you probably don't want blisters. So that was day 46. Check it out if you want to see some rainy footage that day. One of those days that I will remember forever because it was just so darned wet. Now I want to finish this video with which for me was my second favorite day of this entire journey, and that was day number 1. The day that I left Bang Saray in the afternoon. Bang Saray is a small town 25 kilometers south of Pattaya city in Thailand and about 150 kilometers south of Bangkok. Beautiful little coastal town. Well, that's where I started this odyssey of 3,300 kilometers, cycling from there to what we call the Pattaya Jungle Hash House Harriers. And we had a good send-off there. About 90 people said goodbye to me. And then I cycled into Pattaya city, saw the most magnificent sunset that day, took a tour down Walking Street, met up with some friends of mine for some cold drinks, and then cycled home. Did about 90 kilometers that day in approximately 8 or 9 hours, and that was a wonderful, wonderful day. So day number 1, check out that video, very, very good. So there you have it, some of my highs, some of my lows. I hope you've had a chuckle. I hope you'll watch some of those videos again. And for those brave enough, watch the entire series of videos again. You know, start at day 1 and see what it's like for a person to actually cycle every single day for 57 days. And I'm sure you'll appreciate my efforts and say, wow, that guy, congratulations, you did good. So you know what I'm going to leave you with now? Do a spin here. And I'm going to leave you with miles of smiles.